Cliff Note, this is the Cliff Notes version of what just happened. This summer, I'm going to refocus my efforts, and yes, I'm still going to be active on social media. I'm still going to do my reels, etc. However, I'm not going to let it discourage me when it doesn't pick up and like go viral or whatever you call it. I don't need to go viral. I would just like somebody to see what I'm doing. But instead of trying to achieve that, I'd like to achieve getting like a name for myself in my local areas. And when I say local, I mean a pretty good radius. Like I'm like right next to Maryland. I'm in Maryland, and then I'm right next to Virginia, DC. I'm close to Pennsylvania. I'm close to Delaware. Anyway, so I need to target them. Also, I've got like a head cold thing happening, so I'm sure you noticed. But if you don't know me, I don't always sound like I have so much snot in my face. I've been sitting here this morning reflecting on my love for the art that I do and what kind of inspired me. And here's the thing, is I've always loved going to the flea market, going to, you know, little local artists that are set up. I love that. Craft fairs, holiday markets, like the fair, you know, and I've always admired these local artists. So I've always admired them, and I've always been like, what a cool life, okay? Santa Fe. Their flea markets are really cool. 2, near that, on the same vacation, Four Corners, where, you know, the 4 states meet in the one spot. They have Native Americans set up selling silver jewelry and all this beautiful stuff. And like, I go to these kinds of places. Gatlinburg. I fell in love with pyrography right after I got back from Gatlinburg. Wood carvers and like selling carved trees to tourists in their front yard, right? Like, I've always kind of looked at that and what a cool life. What a simple life. Not easy, simple. Like, quiet, beautiful, peaceful. I've always just imagined that, okay? So now here we are. I never thought I would do this as a career, never. Like, I admired them like as an outsider. Like as a consumer. And it's not that like I didn't have, in my opinion, I didn't know I would ever have a skill that would allow that sort of lifestyle for me. Yeah, so I never thought I'd have that sort of skill. So here I am, like, trying to make it as a world-renowned artist. Like, what? What? Like, I feel like I need to shift my focus here. I feel like I need to shift from like trying to make it big on like Instagram. Like, I'll still do my Instagram stuff. And I need to like target my local people. Like, I live outside of DC. So there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of people coming here. There's a lot of I'm like, oh, I don't live in a touristy town. I live like outside of the biggest touristy town, the capital of touristy towns. Now I live in a suburb, so, you know, people aren't visiting my town, but who around here doesn't have to commute for work? Let's be honest. If you're working outside of your home, you're commuting. So I'm like, I need to be tagging my towns. I need to be going to these markets and getting to know. I need to be networking. I need to go to these networking events that are like sponsored by my county and stuff. I need to be doing like the flea markets nearby. Because that's what my family always did. We'd go to like vacations, but we always sought out like cool markets and events like that the locals were doing. And my stepmom has passed, but I'm like sitting here reflecting today. I don't know, it's happening. Whatever, it's happening. So I'm sitting here reflecting, and my mom has passed, my stepmom, and like she would love what I'm doing. She would love what I'm doing. She would probably be my biggest fan, which is shocking because it's shocking to say because growing up, you know, she had a PhD. She was extremely intelligent and I struggled bad. And we had a hard time with that. We were different. Really different. But I'm sitting here like reflecting on why I love the idea of doing this full time. And I don't need to be rich. I'd like to make a good living. I'd like to be able to do this without supplementing my share. My husband works, he'll always work. I don't think he could sit at home not working. Not that I'm sitting at home not working, but he doesn't do this. So anyway, so I'm sitting here reflecting and I'm like, dang, like my stepmom would totally dig this for me because that was one thing we shared, was that like excitement to go to the local, whatever the locals are, and local artists. My mom would invest. She would invest so much. She would invest a lot in local businesses when we were on vacations. At home too, but a lot of the areas outside of DC are still really bustling. So local is, I think, means a little bit different when you're a suburb of a big city. There's so much competition, but like that's okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, but she would dig what I'm doing, find it cool. She would find it cool as shit. I know she would. And she would also like, she would love my hats. And she would love the ideas that I have for what I'm doing. She would love like where I'm planning to take it, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so she would be my biggest cheerleader. I can almost guarantee it. But it's odd to think about because we did have a really rough go of it, she and I. She was wonderful, but she wasn't perfect. And who is, right? Oh my God. Am I? Like, I just thought of it. And like the professional organizing side of it, of what I do, she would love that too. She would totally dig that. Oh boy. Am I subconsciously trying to impress my stepmother who's no longer with us, who I struggled to have a relationship with? Oh my God. Don't ask me why I'm self-reflecting right now because I couldn't tell you. But shit's getting deep in my head right now. It's so deep. Things are so deep right now in my head. Here's the thing about ADHD. It sucks. It sucks. Like, of all the things that you could have, it's probably not the worst. Well, it's definitely not the worst. It's definitely not the worst thing that you could have. But, like, it really sucks. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing about ADHD. You can get pretty good at doing lots and lots of things. And that's where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out kind of like where I want to go next. I'm a year in and everything I've tried has been working out really well. And I'm like, okay, well, do I want to continue this? Which I do. But like, there's also other things that would be cool to do. But I need to make a living. So I'm at a situation where I can continue what I'm doing and focus most of my time on that, of course, and do well, probably. So I don't have any, like, reason to be trying to aspire for something different or something more. But in being successful, you're like, okay, well, like, now I know how to do this, but there's also this thing I've always wanted to do that I could try to do. Maybe I'll be pretty good at that too. And then there's this other thing over here, and then I can teach people how to do it, because if I can do it, they can do it. And guess what? I've got all these ideas floating around my head, and the ones that are going to make me money are getting lost in the mix. And I've been doubting myself, like, bad. Like, I've been a little absent because I don't know what to do. I do know what to do. I just get these, like, harebrained motivations where I'm like, I'm going to become an advocate for people with ADHD and help them. And I can do that. I can do that when I can. I can share my experience. But, you know, I'm not going to gain a super big following. And that's okay, right? I don't need to gain a super big following. I just want it to be seen. And that's where I'm at, is getting my content seen. That's where I'm at. Like, it's not being seen. So I feel like I'm wasting my time. And it's so discouraging, can I tell you? It's so discouraging to spend a lot of time working on something and then nobody even knows it exists. Because I haven't told my family. They say, like, don't tell people until, you know, you're kind of at a spot where it makes sense to tell people, because then they won't have expectations and ask you how it's going, because for a long time it's not going to go well. I've always struggled with that one because I get really excited about stuff, even like Christmas presents. Like, I get really excited and like try to tell everybody, like, do you want to know what you got for Christmas? Because I'm really excited about it. Most people are like, nah, I'll wait till Christmas, which is such a bummer for me. But yeah, I haven't told anybody. So like, literally, I'm getting zero feedback on anything dealing with this channel. Other than a short that got blocked because it was copyrighted somehow. I thought I did everything right. I didn't. It's blocked right now. I haven't invested the time into figuring that out. It can be blocked. It wasn't that serious. But like, also, that's also discouraging. That's also discouraging. So that's where I'm at. I'm feeling defeated. I'm feeling maybe I should be going in a different direction. I'm feeling like I'm wasting my time. I'm feeling a lot of things. And to get where I want to get with what I'm doing, I can see the path for that. And it looks fun, but it looks exhausting. And I don't want to do the path if it's not going to work 100%. And there's no way to tell if it's going to work 100%. So now I just have to follow my instincts, which is to do this because I think it could be good. But everyone, like, here's the thing. Here's the thing with social media is once you come up with an idea, you're researching that idea, you look something up, whatever, that idea becomes part of your algorithm. So then, my hats, for instance, I was so stoked. I'd never heard of it, never seen it, yada, yada. I was so stoked to start doing it. And so, like, I start researching the hats and how it's done, you know, how to market it, blah, blah, blah. So now it's like all I see are other people doing these hats. And now I'm like, well, shit, this isn't that much of a small, like, interesting thing because actually everybody knows how to do it, apparently. But I have to remember, like, this is like all over the world and they're pushing their content in my face because I showed an interest in it for like a hot second. And that is a struggle for me because I get extremely motivated and excited based on little information. So I'm like, oh, now I'm going to be some podcaster and like teach people how to have ADHD. And who the heck am I to teach people how to have ADHD? Because I'm still working on myself. But like, that's the thing. I need to remember, I don't want to teach people how to have ADHD. I want to share my story so they don't feel alone. So they have like a connection. But also, so maybe they don't make the same mistakes I did. Or maybe they copy what I did if it worked and find something successful that can make them live a more peaceful life. Because having ADHD is not so peaceful up in here. Like, there's so much going on at the same time that it's hard to quiet it down. When I have a big project or a lot to do in a short amount of time or whatever, I really need to pump out work. I've got the Bluetooth in the house playing music loud, and then I also have a story or a podcast or something in my ear to quiet the noise of my brain. And I probably should do all that right now because my brain is having some sort of like rave going on in there right now. Like there's so many thoughts. There's so many thoughts right now. And I gotta get stuff done. Bye. Okay, well, that was deep. If you made it through that, that would be crazy. If you're also those like revelation ramblings happen before like 8:30 in the morning. Right now it's 9:45. I've gotten ready for the day. I've gotten Charlie, the dog that I walk. I just finished his walk. So I'm motivated. I am feeling good, but that's kind of like a good idea of what's going on in my head as far as my businesses and my momentum, my motivation, all of that. This is a pretty good indication of how I'm feeling inside about it, and I need to power through, and I need to like focus on one thing at a time. And I think if I focus on one thing and like really like narrow into that, then the rest will come with time. Maybe not. But as far as making it the definition that I need making it to be, as far as that, I feel like if I zero into what I'm doing and what the reasons I'm doing it and the inspiration and where it all started, then I would really, it would evolve on its own. I don't need to market to the whole world. I need to market to people like me who really get a kick out of local art, local craft, small business. Yeah. So that's going to be my summer project, to see how that goes. Because last year I was really focused on making the reels, making the videos, making the work, but I didn't do that many markets. I didn't really get out there and network myself close to home. I was more focused on networking in a way broader sense, thinking that's what I needed to do. But now I'm thinking that I need to focus on a smaller and then like build from that. So we shall see. Stay tuned. If you watched the whole video, kudos to you. There are some interesting little nuggets in there, but it's just basically my revelations as someone with ADHD as a business owner. Because right now my organizing side of it is doing great, and my art side of it is where I'm feeling like unsure, like, because it's so time consuming. And am I going to neglect that to do something different, or am I going to do that? And I think what's best for me is to continue what I've been doing and build onto that instead of starting over with something else. And I am going to be sharing my story. I don't plan to stop doing that on my channel. However, I'm going to make it less about, because there's so much about ADHD I can include in it. This is just me and my journey. And maybe somebody can learn from my journey. But, you know, I did the live research video. Although that was fun. I might keep that. I did like a podcast episode with a friend of mine that has ADHD. And we talked about it. Like, and that was also fun. But maybe it won't be so regular. Maybe it'll be just like random parts of my life. Which is pretty random, and that's what's cool about it, right? I don't know, I think so. So we'll just see what happens. But I do need to refocus. And, you know, I'm reflecting now because I'm about to hit the busy season. School's about to end. So when school's out, I stay home with my kids. I don't take organizing jobs generally unless, you know, it's like one here or there when my husband's not working. So, but I really do want to, I think I need to focus in and zero in and do a lot more markets this year. I only did a handful of markets last year because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I was like kind of getting my toes wet in every aspect of my business. Like, but I think the markets is where I need to focus this year. But if you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. I really admire you. I hope you have a great day. I hope you stay motivated. I hope if you get discouraged, you can take time to reflect on why you're doing it and remember what inspired you to do it in the first place and zero back in on that, because that's what I did this morning. I went and walked the dog I walk, and now I'm headed home. I'm ready to clean up from the weekend. I think we're gonna go on a hike, and I'm like getting really excited to start my week next week in a really like forward way. Have a good weekend. Bye.